Okay, so moving on to our second feature school will be SRH. It's another University of Applied Science in Germany, and it's going to be SRH University of Heidelberg. We have Stephanie and Professor Chandna here. Aside from introducing just the general program and general application, we will also focus on the master program of Big Data and Business Analytics tonight. So let's welcome them.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. We are very excited to be here with you guys today. So as Jade said, we are SRH University Heidelberg. We are extremely happy to be at the EEFT events, I believe for the second time. And as Jade said, we're going to talk about the university, but we're going to do a spotlight on the Big Data and Business Analytics program. So here today, we have two colleagues. I'm Stephanie Farrar from the International Office. I was a student here at SRH University Heidelberg in the International Business Bachelor program. And originally I come from the US, and I'm here today with Professor Dr. Swati Chandna. Perhaps she'd like to introduce herself briefly.
Thanks a lot, Steffi. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Swati Chandna, and I am the study dean or the study program director for Big Data and Business Analytics here in SRH Heidelberg. And I have done my PhD in Germany here in the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning, the big words which you hear every day now. And so in the area of data visualizations. And currently I'm working as a professor here. I'm teaching the students in the same area. I'm teaching them data analytics, data visualizations, so that they can lead out to the topmost job of today, which is being a data scientist. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. We will welcome Professor Dr. Chandna back here in just a few minutes after I tell you a little bit more general information about the university. From a student perspective, I got feedback from our students who I've worked with for the last 5 years. Germany overall is a very safe country, especially for international students and especially for women. It's always something to keep in mind when you're going abroad. Safety and what are my opportunities? They're very, very good for women and in particular internationals as a whole. We have great student life in Heidelberg. There's around 9 universities within the region. And that means for you, there are a lot of opportunities for you to do things like travel at discounts, visit cultural excursions and cultural centers. You can get discounts there. There are a lot of very low cost or free events like scientific seminars or music festivals that students are encouraged to go to. So you'll always find something to do here. For work opportunities, it's very common that our master's students work. In fact, most of our master's students are working and studying at the same time. So if you're interested in that, this is a great area for you. Heidelberg is located in the largest technology cluster in Europe, so there are plenty of student work opportunities. If you do want to work as a student, you can work for 120 full days out of the year. And after you graduate, you can qualify for an 18-month job searching visa as a graduate from a German university. But to be honest, the job market is really good. I'm sure that Professor Chandna is going to go into that a little bit more. The job market's really good. Students generally don't need 18 months to find a job. If you want to stay in Germany like I did, then 2 years after you graduate, you can apply for a permanent residence. And I do have to say the process is fairly simple and straightforward. So if your goal is to migrate and stay in Germany, there is a process set up that's very simple to follow. So aside from the Big Data and Business Analytics program at the university, we have a number of English programs. If you are interested in the areas of data science or applied computer science, we do have master programs for you there, but we also have engineering programs as well as architecture programs and programs in business or in therapy, and all the ones on your screen are taught in English. Most of them are going to be at the master level. So if you are a bachelor student, we do offer international business at the bachelor level. And if you have any in-depth questions about that specific program, I can tell you as an alumna really deep details. Characteristics of studying at the university, we are quite small, meaning that our classrooms are kept quite small. You have around 20 to 25 people in your class, which is a huge benefit for you because you get a lot of contact then with your professors. In fact, most of your professors will know you by name within the first few weeks at the university. So it's nice to not be a number, but to be a face at the university. And that proved to be a big benefit during times of COVID and lockdowns when there were restrictions placed on the number of people meeting. We have smaller classrooms, so that means we are usually able to meet at least some in-class teaching. Just as an example, in 2020 alone, we had the students in class for 8 months. Out of that time, of course, with hygiene regulations, sometimes we didn't have all 20, perhaps it was just small, teeny, tiny groups meeting, but all students were given the opportunity to have some in-class activities and experiences. Along with the small classrooms and the contact to your professors, one unique thing that we have that I really loved at the university is practical teaching and exams. So you have to be really, really active in the classroom. You can't just show up and expect to pass. You have to contribute and you have to do research and you have to work in your teams. This is a big benefit when you go out and work, because when you're interviewing for a job, you can bring those examples into it and say, I have worked with a team, I've worked with an international group, or I've done already these specific tasks that you're looking for. And of course, as I said before, if you really want to work during your studies, there are a number of global players in the area. But perhaps my favorite thing about the university is that we will teach in blocks. So you'll have a module that's going to be over 5 blocks, where you'll learn 1 to 2 subjects. And in the 5th week, you sit your exam and then you move on to the next subject. For me, I loved this, and I know most of our students did too, because that means at the end of every semester, you're not sitting through 8 to 10 exams because you're taking your exams continuously throughout your studies. So it takes off a lot of exam stress that people suffer from and keeps it moving along with your learning progress. So that style of teaching is what's called the core principle. That's our competent-oriented research and education at the university. And this simply means that activated teaching and learning. As I said, you don't only have to be physically present, you have to be active. This means you'll regularly be doing group projects. Sometimes you'll do a flipped classroom where you're supposed to come up and teach part of the material to your classmates under the guidance of your professor. You might be working on case studies, or you could even do project pitches with local companies. That means a representative from a local company comes into the class and essentially gives you guys an assignment to work over for 5 weeks. And then you present that not only to the teachers as your exam, but to the companies also. And I have seen this in my class turn into an offer for an internship for one of the students. So that means you are getting this constant contact, not only with professors, but you also can get it with companies as well. Some of the companies that I've seen happen in the past are SAS and SAP. If you're one of our computer science students, you probably are already familiar with those companies. And also Mercedes-Benz for the engineers. These were the ones that were done in the last year or so. Our campus is really beautiful. It is set up more like an American campus. We have our classrooms there, but we also have a cafeteria, a gym that includes a sauna, a rock wall, equipment for working out, a pool. We have as well a library, and one special thing that we can offer to students is on-campus accommodation. It's not something that's very common in Europe that you're going to find apartments on campus, but this is something we can offer to you. And I know this is a big deal, especially in Corona times, because you could come to the university and have our support, and we would be very close to you during your arrival. So if you're interested in living on campus, The prices are about the average of Heidelberg, around 250 to 560 euros per month. And this really just depends on what kind of room and which apartment you want. We've got single rooms and double rooms. You can have your private bathroom or a shared bathroom. One thing we have in common is a large shared kitchen, and students have been working very well during COVID times to keep those kitchens cleaned. They are sanitized as well by the university, and they're also internally working out their own schedule, so they're limiting the number of people in the kitchens as well. So they are thinking ahead in the student dorms how to handle this best. And in Germany, as a student, we do expect you to kind of organize yourself. And then we support students with whatever they need to make it as safe as possible. So during your studies, there are a lot of things that you can get involved in. You can join our International Cultural Club. They meet every week to do things like company visits. Sometimes they'll go on an excursion. The students just did a trip to Frankfurt about a week ago. They will also do cultural things like visiting our castle, or maybe going to the Porsche museum to get to know a little bit more about German history and the automobile industry. And they do other things like get together and have international dinners. Basically, the point here is for you to meet other international students. We offer free language courses. So if you would like to stay in Germany, you have the opportunity at night to learn German for free. And if you would like to learn maybe a second or a third language, you can take that option up as well. If you're a student who's interested in entrepreneurship and you want to start your own company, but maybe you're not a business student, or maybe you are, but you just don't know how this will happen in Germany, you can go to our startup center and start your own company. We had our first group of international students start their own company. They were 2 students from engineering, and they're doing very, very well. So this is an option open to you too. And in addition to your regular programs, you can also take additional courses at the university for free. There are things like communication, basic digital skills, employability, all kinds of courses that you would want to take to give yourself a better edge when it comes to applying for a job. We are very open to taking your suggestions. So if there's something you want to learn or a skill you want to improve, you can just let our Career Advisory Center know, and they will offer these courses for you after they find a teacher. Entrance criteria at the university. You can see on the screen here that we accept the regular proof of English tests on here, like the IELTS, the TOEFL, the Pearson English tests. We also will take Duolingo certificates now. And if you have any other proof, such as medium of instruction, meaning you had your bachelor or your high school 100% in English, we could accept that as well. If you're a high achieving student, then you could apply in your final semester for our university programs. Generally, we're looking for around a 2.5 for most of our courses for you to be able to apply. If you're a student interested in a bachelor program, that's a little tricky, and we're very happy to go over one-on-one with you because we have to make sure you have entrance to a German university. So that is a little bit trickier, but we're happy to advise you. Then for each master program you're applying for, they do have specific criteria. So that is on our homepage, and we can always help you one-on-one through our admissions team. I'll be honest, our admission process is pretty straightforward. It's probably the same as almost anywhere else you would apply to. You apply online, we invite you for an interview. Then once you pass the interview, we give you a pre-admission letter, and this would lay out your tuition fees. We ask for your first year to be paid in advance along with your enrollment fee, and then you get the final letter, which you would use for the visa. One question I know that we will get is there an application deadline? No, we do suggest you apply around the 15th of January if you want to come in summer. So that's kind of already passed. So you would be looking then at the 15th of July, and that's so you have enough time to get your visa. And then I see I've run a little over time on mine, but this is my last slide, and then I'll bring Professor Chandna back on. So the last thing I have for you guys here is funding. There are lots of opportunities for you to finance your studies. Things like scholarships we offer at our university. This is based on your academics, financial need, or social engagement that you have. Those are all on our homepage, and I encourage everyone to take a look at those because who knows what you might qualify for. You can also apply for a loan or additional funding if you need support with your study abroad. And finally, you should always check out the DAAD. We have a wonderful relationship with the DAAD Taipei, and they offer a number of scholarships specifically for Taiwanese students. So I'd like to now take the opportunity to turn this over to Professor Dr. Chandna to tell you more details about the Big Data and Business Analytics Master Program.
Thanks a lot, Steffi, for this nice overview about the university. I would now take you over to one of the master's program here, Big Data and Business Analytics, which we are offering for 2 years. As you can see in the next slide, the amount of data is increasing daily, be it in form of Facebook data, be it Netflix data, you're watching movies, there are thousands of movies there, Facebook, internet, Instagram, everywhere the data is increasing. And the challenges which are coming with the data set in the next slide, if you can see, are the data quality challenges, or where the problems from multiple ends occur. This is not even without big data. Now with the big data, the problem has multiplied due to veracity. The data here is really messy, inconsistent and incomplete, whatever data we are collecting from these sources. The next challenge is data discovery. Big data sources. So if data discovery, big data sources are stored in petabytes, and finding these insights or the challenges, this is really a big challenge. So big data is like finding a needle in a haystack. So analyzing these petabytes or zettabytes of data using these powerful algorithms to find the data or to find the patterns is very, very difficult. The one of the challenges is also the data storage, is how to store the data. It's always a challenge if we are collecting so much of data or tremendous amount of data set from these multiple sources. This brings a challenge which is called as data storage. The more data an organization has, the more complex problem it is. And the question is how to store the data, where to store the data, and what kind of storage system do we need. So big data ask for scale up or down the demand. Data analytics is again one of the challenge. When we have so much of data, we are unaware of what kind of data set we are dealing with one end. We are not sure about the reliability or relevance of the source of the data. We are always hearing about cybersecurities every day. Most of the external sources come from the messy data, or cleaning the data is one of, again, the problem. So performing a right kind of analysis on the unclean data is again a tricky challenge. Data security. To keep the data secure or is again a challenge to providing user access or user authentication or restricting the access is again one of the major challenge. If you see in the next slide, this master's program in data science and analytics or big data and analytics will pick up on all these developments or all these challenges which I have just told you and provide you an education that enables all the graduates to study, design, plan practical solutions in this area. This master's program is a 2 years master's program of 120 credit points, which with the emphasis on applied data science and analytics. As you can see in the slide, it qualifies in all the layers of data science, data analysis, business intelligence, and being a data engineer. Big data analytics goes far beyond simple data analysis. It is essential to solve the economical challenges of the future. Here you will apply all the state-of-the-art methods, starting from data collection or data understanding, if you see in the first hexagon, to the data storytelling and resolving the original business question in the last hexagon. So the whole data science process starts from understanding the data, then cleaning the data, analyzing the data, visualizing the data, and finally resolving the original question. So if you see the concept of the whole program in our next slide, the program is divided into 3 main areas: data engineering, data analysis, and data visualization. Data engineering includes the lectures on the construction of systems that enable the methods of data analysis on large data sets through efficient and scalable data processing. Here in this program or in this area, we teach how to manage storage of large data sets, as we were just talking about as the biggest challenge of data science. Data analytics contains courses that will require a solid foundation in mathematics, data analytics, predictive analytics, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And the last thing is visualization, data storytelling, and resolving the original question. Here, you will be talking to the clients and trying to solve the original data question by telling them the insights or the patterns you have discovered in the data cells itself. If you see below, there's a big arrow which says case studies. As Steffi was just telling in her overview that you can do different projects with the company here. All of these projects or all of these small projects you can also do in a company here. We are in partners with different big companies here like SAP or SAS or Heidelberg Cement. You can have a stakeholder or you can have a client here who you will be in touch together with, and you will be working on these smaller case studies so that you can get an experience of how the projects are done in real life in industry. In the learning outcomes, the students or the graduates get the complete understanding of applied data science. They are able to apply all the machine learning and deep learning algorithms to solve the complex data problems which we are facing now daily. You will get all the skills to leverage the data, to reveal the valuable insights or the patterns which you can find in the data, and also form a technical or a business research question so that this can be solved and the challenge can be resonated together. The course curriculum of our Big Data and Business Analytics looks like this. If you see in this picture here, as Steffi already told, we are working according to the core principle. So we don't have a semester system, but we have a core principle. So now if you see in this diagram here, all of our modules are divided into blocks. So if you see on the top that we are starting from April on, then we have a small block 1 written. Block 1 here is meaning we have 5-week block. So one block is of around 3 to 5 weeks. And in this 5-week, you are concentrating only on 1 or maximum 2 of the modules at that time. So you can concentrate only on one module, you can do a project, and then this block ends. And then you go over to the next subject. So if this is the whole curriculum, I would now take you through to the whole curriculum in detail so that you can see what are we actually doing inside this whole curriculum. If you go to the next slide, in the first semester deals with the fundamentals of the data analysis. Here we will teach you the basics. I know different students come from different backgrounds, so we have to set the page. So we have to set the common page together so that all the students come to the same background. And we start over with the first module, which is called as first steps into the case studies. In the next slide. First steps into the case study will lay the essential knowledge or the foundation to all the later modules which we need. Students will analyze various practical examples of big data projects. They will understand the meaning of artificial intelligence. They will understand what is the difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, data analytics, with data visualization, and so on. They will be involved in different teams with different companies. Here, we are mainly working with SAS to work on a big data project. The students will define a concrete problem with business people. They will do a data acquisition, cleaning, analysis, and visualization to solve a business research question. If you go to the next slide, in parallel to first steps into the case study, if you see, we have again a module which is called as data storytelling and communication. This is again a very important module. Here, when you are going to companies, you need to communicate to the clients or what kind of pattern or what kind of stories are there inside the data set so that you can do a kind of an effective communication with your clients. So here we design and develop advanced applications for visual data analysis for effective communication of the insights or the patterns which we can discover regarding the original problem. If you go to the next slide, in the basics again, during this module, the students will learn the essential tools and the methods of descriptive statistics and machine learning. The students will again pose the questions and analyze the huge amount of data sets using different machine learning algorithms. Just take a simple example. How is Siri working or how is Alexa working? Here we are learning all the basic algorithms, how these machines are trained, or how different recommendation engines are working. You're watching movies every day, Netflix you're watching, or Amazon Prime, or I don't know, there are many platforms where you're watching these kind of media. And you notice that they are giving you some recommendations. Maybe you would like to watch such kind of movie today. And how the task which is done behind is all the machine learning algorithms, the recommendation engines. And here in this module, we will teach you how all these algorithms written so that you can maybe develop a own recommendation engine of your own in future. The next slide, if you go into, is data engineering. As we discussed, one of the important challenge was to store the data. In this module, we will be teaching how to construct the big data architecture so that the data storage problem can be solved. This is data engineering 1. If you go to the next slide, managing the data. Once we have stored the data, we need to check, is the data clean? Is the data messy? Is the data inconsistent? And here we are trying to analyze the quality of the data. And this is one of the most important tasks in the whole data science process. And many data scientists spend most of the time just cleaning the data, because when the data is coming in so inconsistent, so we need a kind of a proper method. And here you will use different practical tools, how to clean the data so that the data can be analyzed really well in future. If you go to the next slide, in parallel to data analytics 1, data engineering 1, data management 1, you see big data programming 1, which is starting from block 2 itself. Here we are building up again the base of programming. We don't expect that the student should know high level of programming. Here we are teaching them Python, starting from Python and R, so that the students can set up a base of programming and fundamentals can be set, and so that you can get compatible with all of the algorithms which you will be implementing in parallel blocks like data analytics 1, data engineering 1, and data management 1. This completes the first semester of our curriculum. If you see in our next slide, so we have first steps into the case study. We have data analytics 1, data engineering 1, data management 1, data storytelling 1, and big data programming. This is the first semester where we have laid down the foundations. Now, if you go to the second semester is the intermediate data analytics block. Again, here we are talking about the 5-week blocks. So we will start from data analytics 2. Once we have understood the basics of data analytics 1. So once we have understood the basics of data analytics 1, we go into more advanced concepts of data analytics. How the reinforcement learning, how to mine text. If you are reading text every day and machines are automatically analyzing these text, we have text to speech, we have speech to text, and all these algorithms. And here we are dealing with natural language processing. So getting more advanced now with the data analytics. If you go to the next slide, here again, we are dealing with the more advanced concepts of data storage with the extraction, transformation, and loading process, and how to solve these challenges if we want to load the data into different architectures. In Tableau, in data storytelling and communication 2, we are teaching some advanced concepts or advanced tools like Tableau or Power BI or Tableau CRM. There, the students will learn how to design various interactive dashboards on cloud or on their systems for effective communication of insights and patterns inside their data set. And last in this block is privacy ethics. As I told you, data security. Again, here we talk about how to enable the students to develop technical and organizational measures to enforce privacy and personality laws in big data projects and data analysis. So here you learn all the terminologies behind. Again, in parallel, if you see in the next slide, case study 1 is going in parallel to all of these modules. Here you can use the concepts from all the modules, or you can work out with the company where you will work out in small teams. With the company, you will be assigned a company, and then you will be working on these real-time projects. You will be getting the data from the company, and then you will know how the data will be stored, will be cleaned, will be managed, and lastly analyzed and then visualized so that the patterns or the insights can be told to the customers. If you go to the next slide, this is the intermediate analytics block. The whole second semester is laying out the advanced concepts. In the third semester is the advanced or the expertized data analytics. Here we talk about, if you go into the next slide, if you see, the first thing we talk about is data management. Here we are not talking now about big data, but we are talking about smart data. How we go over from big data to smart data. How do we build different data warehouses and see how we can make sense out of this data so that the data can be used for further analysis. Parallel to this block, to this module, it's data storytelling and communication 3. Here we learn again about the advanced data visualization concepts for doing the exploratory data analysis on the cloud. Now, if you go into the next slide, we have data analytics 3. Here we are learning about the advanced concepts of deep learning. You're also hearing about neural networks every day, that the data is trained with that kind of neural network. And here we are learning or making the students learn about different algorithms, how to do or how to write these data science or deep learning algorithms. In the next slide, case study 2 or internship. Here you have this is an elective module. You can choose either you want to do a mandatory internship, can get it, case study 2 and internship. So here you can choose between either you want to do a case study 2, like a kind of an internal project with the professor, or a mandatory internship with a company. And it's a 14-week or 12-week in mandatory internship with 14 credit points. And you can have a feel of how, again, the big data projects are done. As Steffi was already saying before, that you can also work as a working student. So if you are doing a 6-month working student, and this can be considered as a 3-month internship also. So students, if you find, I don't know, some working student job in second semester, you can, which continues till the third semester, this can also be considered as a full-time internship. So you have a lot of options which we can explore together in this course. In parallel to this internship, you will see big data programming 2. Here we are again talking about the advanced Python concepts, which you will be learning, or mostly cloud computing, which we will be doing here in this course, which is again running for over the 3 months. The last semester, if you see in the last slide, is the master thesis. Here, whatever you have learned in the first 3 semesters, you will be applying this individually with the internal and the external supervisor if you are doing the master thesis in a company. So again, you can do master thesis in 2 ways, either internally in the university or externally with the company if you want to get more industrial experience and work on the industrial projects. And in the internally, the professor can provide you nice research projects which you want to explore ahead. And this completes the whole master's program in Big Data and Business Analytics. And with this master's, you get eligible if you want to do a doctorate even in the area of machine learning or AI. So many of our students have applied and got really nice opportunities in the doctorate and also in the industrial level. I would like to show you in the next slide different road to success. So here, as I said, the case studies are one of the most important factor which we are offering in our course. You will work with different companies with different kinds of data set in the areas of health, in the areas of finance, in the area of health, airline or automotive industry, and then you can get a feel of how these different domains work, and you can get a practical experiences. Thesis can also be done in the industry, as I was saying in my last slide. So you can either choose to do a thesis internally with the professor, or you can choose to do this in an industry. In the next slide, you see our all partners, which you can do the case study with. We are working currently with SAP, SAS, ABB, and we are publishing also papers. So we are always saying the CV of the students should not just work on the 2 pages thing. The Google should tell it, your CV, and all the publications that then are available on Google Scholar. When the people are recruiting you, or you can just directly go and show to them, hey, look, I have done these publications in this area, and I have worked with tremendous amount of data set with so much of challenges I have solved with big data, and these companies are providing us that platform. So these are just, I didn't want to do a big marketing of our partners, but we are really working with these partners. Considering the job market, data science jobs, if you see in the next slide, the sexy job, we call it, of the 21st century, the data scientist. I don't want to, tell or do again the marketing, but data science, a lot of data knowledge is in demand. So as I told, the data is getting cheap. So what is actually getting cheap but the data? And what is complemented to the data is the data analysis. And this master's course provides you that. So if you see in the next slide, I have a data science Venn diagram, which will tell you, for being a data scientist or data science unicorn, what kind of knowledge basically you need. Can be hacking skills, can be machine learning, which are mathematics and statistical knowledge, some danger zone, which I will just tell you in the next slide, and some expertise. If you see in the next slide, of course, you need the knowledge of mathematics and statistics or different kind of algorithms of machine learning. And here in this program, as I was telling in Data Analytics 1, we are providing the knowledge of mathematics, statistics, and different machine learning algorithms. You need hacking skills. You need IT and programming skills. Again, the special knowledge of all the tools and techniques are needed. And being a practical oriented university, we provide that knowledge in the courses of big data programming. And in fact, in all the courses, we are teaching the tools and techniques which are really required for being a data scientist. Then you need the expertise in different domains. The case studies here are helping you to gain the expertise in different domains like airline, automotive, healthcare, traveling, and so on. The danger zone I was talking about is the half knowledge, ability to give data-based answers to the questions of the application domain. If you're just giving half answers to the application, this will lead you to the danger. So we really need the complete statistical knowledge for the interpretation of the results and the data, so that the questions or the patterns can be found out easily inside the data set. And it's just not, you can be just only data scientist after doing this course. There are many job descriptions which you see in the next slide. I'm just listing some or out of many, and one is data analyst. And being a data analyst, the goal will be to contribute to the business with the statistical data analysis of the data. The task will be the preparation, analysis, and the visualization of the data, which this course again provides. Then again, being a data scientist, I can call it a senior data analyst, which can know also all the other algorithms of doing the complex analysis and predictions with using deep learning and machine learning or natural language processing. The task here will be to understand the problems of the application domain, interpretation, and communication of the data analysis results to the stakeholders. The other job descriptions are data engineering. The data engineering 1 and 2 the modules of our program will help you to manage big data systems, collect and prepare all this data so that it can be provided to the data scientist or data analyst for analyzing this data set. The other profile is data architect. It's again, I would say it, senior data engineer. The goal is to design the whole architecture of all these big data systems. And here again, the task is to develop and visualize the data management architectures. More are machine learning engineer. Here you will be just concentrating on the machine learning parts. You will be expert in the algorithms which are done only by machine learning. So this list is just not complete. There are many words which come together, but in and all, this is one of the jobs which you can find out in industry. And I can tell you from my experience that the students starting from their third semester start to find their full-time jobs. They already get offers from the companies because these skills are really needed and in demand. And so from the third semester onwards, they get these jobs, and directly after finishing their master thesis on the first day itself, they have a full-time job in their hand with respect to these job profiles. My second last slide is the admission criteria of big data and business analytics. So you will need a bachelor's degree. It can be a bachelor's of science, bachelor's of technology, bachelor's of engineering in computer science domain or IT. If you have experience with data science, machine learning, this is okay. This is really a good factor. Data analytics, it is expected that if you have little bit of experience in R and Python, but if you don't have it, don't worry. We are teaching you from scratch in big data programming, the whole Python and the R concepts as well. Knowledge of machine learning statistics is a plus. As I said, again, this is not a mandatory thing, but if you have it, it's good. And you can have more advanced knowledge, and you can help the other colleagues or other students in your class as well. Then we require the English language proof of IELTS from 6.5, and the study fees is around 19,000 euros approximately. Last but not the least, I would like to tell you about the save the date. We are organizing a data science, the first international data science summer school in August this year. If you like, you can visit us. This whole trip will be funded by DAAD. Even your travel tickets and your accommodation will be funded by them. And you can come here, have a feel, look for the opportunities, interact with the professors, and see how the studies are going on. And then you can decide that where you want to pursue the master's. Maybe you are coming here and, we just get into each other and you really like the program. And I think the summer school is really a nice opportunity. I would really like to see some of the people from Taiwan in my summer school. Thanks a lot, Steffi. This is from my side. I would now like to give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Chandna. I hope that we were able to answer some of your questions that you had coming in today. I believe we're going to do some question and answer now, but on the screen for you guys, if you want to take a screenshot, you can always get in touch with us after the event today, directly with Dr. Chandna's email or our admissions team. You can find both of them there. So thank you so much for listening, and we are more than happy to take your questions now.
Right. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you, Professor Chandna, for introducing the handbook for us. And also, especially, we have a deeper look at the big data business analytics programs. What will be the future opportunity and potential for students to develop their career as well. Now, let's welcome all the questions and inquiry from our participants. So, first questions, okay. This audience is interested in business and management master. Does it require any academic background for this program?
So I'm just reading the question. Thank you. I'm interested in business and management. So first of all, I don't know business. You are interested in business and management. So maybe Steffi, would you like to answer this?
Sure. Since you're looking for business and management and you don't have a bachelor in business, that's totally fine. You can see on the screen here for you that we've got two business programs. The first one's International Management and Leadership. This one is only for students with a business background, but the second one, and we have recently had the name updated, it's now called Global Business Leadership. Mm-hmm. This program is aimed at students without a business background. So that's the one that you would be looking for. Right. In the class with you, it's probably going to be mostly engineers and computer science students, but any student can apply for that master.
So let's focus on this global leadership program. And what will be the tuition is calculated? I think also on the screen, our participants also can find out what will be the tuition fee for that. Would it be also like 9,240 per year?
So yes, it looks like the student checked online where they see it's 750 per month. That's what it does come out to for most of the programs between, 690 and 790. You can see depending on the program. Mm-hmm. However, as an international student, we ask that you pay yearly in advance. Right. So if you were looking at global business leadership, you would pay around 9,000 per year in advance. So you'd make the payment twice.
I see. Does it also include the registration fee?
The registration fee is going to be, technically our enrollment fee is what we call it, but same thing. Yes, the enrollment fee is an extra 1,000 euros. And to get your study place reserved, you would pay the enrollment fee of 1,000 euros plus the first year. And then right before the start of the second year, you would pay the other half of your tuition fee.
So also for the scholarship opportunity, usually how many percentage of international students may receive a scholarship either from SRH or from the government? This audience is specific interested in STIBET and promos.
Okay, so for STIBET and promos, those are specifically going to be the study abroad financial support that we offer. So for the STIBET and promos, I will say that, knock on wood, we have been lucky enough that every student who has applied and for a study abroad through an Erasmus Plus program that's inside of Europe, every student, knock on wood, who has applied has gotten it in the last few years. STIBET and promos, those are going to be outside of the European Union. So those are, of course, going to be a little bit more limited, and it really depends on how many scholarships are available. So it fluctuates year to year. So it does make it a little bit more difficult for me to answer.
All right, perfect. No worries. Yeah, for the scholarship opportunity, as Stephanie has mentioned, like definitely for Taiwanese student, first of all, definitely you can go to check DAD Taiwan's websites. They offer information specific for Taiwanese student to study abroad in Germany and Europe. So definitely you can go through the DAD's website first of all. So you don't have to like filter those criteria, whether it's suitable or whether it's qualified, available for Taiwanese student or not. I think it's the most convenient way to find a financial ad for you.
Definitely. And I know that they not only have a search engine on the DAAD website for funding, but I believe they even do information sessions and live sessions where you can talk to the colleagues about funding options. So I encourage everyone to take advantage of them. I've even presented with them a few times, and they're very active and very motivated to help students come.
And they also offer the consulting session for Taiwanese students as well during specific hours on weekdays. So definitely you can also make use of it if you're very interested. All right, so I think that's all for today's session. Also, Stephanie shared the contact information, also the social media link and website for us just now. So definitely you can make use of it. Yes, thank you for going back to this page. Yeah. For if you are specific interested in the Big Data and Business Analytics program, you can contact Professor Chandna. If you have any like general questions about international admission, any service for international students, you can reach the admission office. Also, you have their social media websites and also YouTube and LinkedIn, where you can find more like general campus live information, and you can take a look what would be the live is SRH Heidelberg.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for staying with us and listening to our presentation today. I want to say thank you again to the European Education Affairs of Taiwan for inviting us to come today. And thank you, Dr. Chandna, for taking the time to come and talk with the students also. I know you're quite busy too.
Thanks a lot for having me here. I think I was really happy to be here and present the program.
Thank you, Professor Chandna, and thank you, Stephanie. It's our pleasure to have both of you here as well, and providing us a lot of information. I hope this session will be helpful for our Taiwanese participants as well. Thank you for coming, and I wish you all have a good day here.
You too. Everyone stay healthy. We'll see you next time.
Of course.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.